You might know someone who huffs and puffs and threatens you. In this video, you'll find out how to cope with such an adversary. Well, hello there, Space Cats, and thanks for dropping in on the YouTube Railway of Destiny. If this is your first time here, you'll find a dash of nonsense, sprinkled with a tickling of artistic endeavour. I write and illustrate children's books, and if that is your thing too, then we are a good fit. I've got some great arty and publishing-y type classes, they're linked in the description box below, and a whole ton of videos that are going to help you on my channel. This year I have been concentrating on creative writing videos, and I've been doing a series on folklore and fairy tales. This week I am digging deep into the story that was roundly told in my household when my boys were little. It is my own take on the story because I am a gentle soul and I just don't like the idea of cooking creatures in boiling water. I may have slightly tinkered with the end. This is the story of the Three Little Pigs. Now, I should just point out that this video is made for grown-ups who hope one day to make their own books, and this is an exercise in making a front cover. I've used my old dip pen and waterproof ink, watercolour paint and Inktense watercolour pencils. And apologies for a slightly squeaky voice. It's been my turn to have the dratted COVID. Ugh. Here's the story. Listen as you watch the illustration unfold. There were once 3 little pigs, 2 brothers and their sister. They decided to move out of their parents' house because it was beginning to get a bit crowded. There was only one bathroom, and there were often arguments about who'd eaten the last slice of bread. So they decided to each build a little house of their own. The first pig was a bit lazy. In his travels to find a spot to build on, he came across a few bales of straw that had fallen off the back of a tractor. "Oh, this'll do," he said. And he snipped the string, ruffled up the straw and crawled underneath. He poked a hole in the side and called it a window, and he found a piece of cardboard and called that a door. It was pretty cosy, and he fell asleep. Unbeknown to pig number 1, there was a beastly wolf roaming in the village. He had watched the lazy pig with some interest and went to investigate. The wolf knocked on the cardboard door. "Little pig, let me come in," said the wolf in his nicest voice. The pig knew straight away who it was. Wolves always sounded the same. He quivered under the straw. "Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin! I shall not let you in!" he squeaked. "Then I shall huff, and I shall puff, and I shall blow your house down," said the wolf. And the wolf huffed and puffed and blew the straw house in. The little pig ran as fast as he could to his little sister. She was building a house too. She had cleverly spoken to the woodsman who saved Grandma from a different wolf. He had given her lots of leftover sticks and some string to bind them. It was looking pretty nice. Her house had proper windows and a door, and she'd just about finished it and was settling into her rocking chair when her brother flew in through the door, panting. The only word he could say was, "Wolf!" Immediately, she bolted the front door and they huddled down behind the sofa. Soon enough, there was a knock at the front door. "Little piggies, let me come in," said the wolf in his hungriest voice. The pigs knew straight away who it was. Wolves always sounded the same. though he quivered inside the house made of sticks.
"Not by the hair on our chinny-chin-chins! We shall not let you in!"
they squeaked. "Then I shall huff, and I shall puff, and I shall blow your house down," said the wolf. And the wolf huffed and puffed and blew the stick house in. The little pigs ran as fast as they could to their older brother. Being the most sensible of the three, the oldest pig had spoken to the planning department and a local builder. He had visited the local building merchant and bought himself a lot of bricks and mortar and other technical things you use to build a proper house. He had just finished putting the roof tiles on and had lit a roaring fire for a cup of tea and a custard cream biscuit when his brother and sister burst in through the front door. The only word they could say was, "Wolf!" Immediately, Big Brother Piggy bolted the front door and stood with his trotters on his hips, frowning. Soon enough, there was a knock at the front door. "Little piggies! Little piggies! Let me come in!" said the wolf in his angriest voice. The pigs knew straight away who it was. Wolves always sounded the same. The two younger piglets hid behind Big Brother Pig.
"Not by the hair on our chinny-chin-chins! We shall not let you in!"
he called. "Then I shall huff, and I shall puff, and I shall blow your house down," said the wolf.
"Go on then,"
said Big Brother Pig.
"I'd like to see you try."
This made the wolf even more cross. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he blew. But the house, made of bricks, did not budge. The wolf tried again, taking an even deeper breath. He huffed, and he puffed, and he blew. But the house, made of bricks, did not budge at all. This made the wolf furious. He was determined to get some dinner, and little piggy wiggies were his favourite. So he clambered up onto the roof and headed towards the chimney. "Little piggies, I'm coming for my dinner," he said as he slithered down the chimney. But to his horror and surprise, he landed in a very hot situation. The fire was on in the hearth, and it burnt his bottom. "Yow!" he screeched, jumping up and racing out of the front door, which the Big Brother Pig had kindly opened for him.
"And don't come back!"
Piggy yelled. The last they saw of the wolf was when he jumped into the nearby pond to cool his smouldering bum. Big Brother Pig stoked the fire and put the copper kettle over it.
"Anyone for tea?"
he asked. If you'd like further artist tutorials, I have a variety of short courses that will help you. There are real-time sessions looking at painting, drawing and marker pens, among others. And if you're keen on producing your own book, there is a more in-depth course on what you need to know about self-publishing a book with illustrations. That covers making key decisions, how to make layouts and dummy books, rhythm and pacing, as well as several tutorials on illustrating a book and a look at the tech. You can either hop over to my website or join me on Patreon for more information. Go on, give it a go! Well, I did warn you I don't like dropping creatures in boiling water, and that translates to crab, lobster and prawn type fellas in the real world. Not even wolves. If you have a big bad wolf in your life who keeps huffing and puffing at you, you have to outsmart them. Build your own indestructible shield and wait for them to set fire to their own bottoms. Leave a comment if there is a story that you would like me to draw, even if it's one that's not that well known. Sub and ding the bell if you want next week's video, which is going to be on how I use Photoshop and InDesign to bring my books together. Until then, I'm off to double check my house is made of bricks, just in case there are any rogue wolves in my neck of the woods. I will see you next week. Nanu nanu.